In September 2011, four-star athlete Diamante Thomas from Alliance Marlington was at the Big House. He was there to visit Michigan, where he saw the Wolverines' exciting 35-31 win over Notre Dame. Quarterback Denard Robinson led Michigan to 28 fourth-quarter points and a comeback victory as he collected a total scrimmage of nearly 450 yards. Thomas witnessed the magic. He saw that huge stadium glowing. He heard the roar of the crowd. He wanted to be a part of it. So that night, 79 days before Urban Meyer was hired by the state of Ohio, he committed. This was the last time Michigan took a pledge from an Ohio top 100 in the 247 sports composite. Until Tuesday, running back, four-star Cincinnati Jordan Marshall Archbishop Moeller visited Michigan for the weekend. A few days after returning to Ohio, he devoted himself to the Wolverines. He is number 91 player overall and the number 7 running back in country. He received an offer from the state of Ohio. The Buckeyes wanted him, and Michigan got him. No message board excuses. Michigan's official Twitter account posted a video of Donovan Edwards' 75-yard touchdown run, nearly sealing the Wolverines' win against Ohio State at Ohio Stadium in November, the program's second-to-back victory in the competition. The message was a grinning emoji. That's all that had to be said. This is personal. Winning on the field over the past 2 years has been more than enough to hurt Ohio State. But going to Ohio and picking the top 100 is an invasion. A warning that the Wolverines didn't just win a few random games before returning to second fiddle in this rivalry. This is how Michigan continues to reclaim the competition that was once, until recently, almost completely. This is the next step in the renaissance of Michigan football. Meyer knew the importance of this geographic divide when he was head coach at Ohio State. So he spent his entire tenure maniacally trying to keep Michigan from crossing the border. Win on the field. Earn from the field when recruiting. Repeat. It got to the point where he basically stopped trying to recruit in the state of Ohio. Michigan. In class of 2019, five-star defensive side came very close to removing Zach Harrison from Columbus area, but ultimately chose Buckeyes. The only time Michigan got an Ohio recruit was when the Buckeyes didn't bid. Go further. Hiring mailbag momentum in Michigan. Dare to dream in Nebraska. This is probably why Michigan's hiring strategy has been so erratic under the Jim Harbaugh administration. If Ohio, the most obvious place, is off the table, then what? California? Texas? Massachusetts? Michigan didn't have a clear and definable plan for its recruiting strategy, which is probably why the Wolverines had such a hard time attracting attention with their high school talent background. Being a non-factor in Ohio has done more harm to Michigan than people will admit. Obviously, this is no longer the case. Michigan isn't just trying to try again in Ohio, it's winning the battles. Ohio State has always been a chicken and egg situation when it ditched competition during Meyer's tenure. Did Michigan need to convince players to beat Ohio State? Or did Michigan need to beat Ohio State to get the players? My thought process has always been that the talent gap is too wide and constantly widening for Michigan to win. Wiping the talent gap should have come first to me. This was very important. Turns out I was wrong. Despite having significantly less talent on their roster over the past 2 years, Michigan not only beat Ohio State, they won convincingly. These were disclosure games. The kind of wins you thought would lead to much more effective recruiting. They were proof of concept that gave elite players a reason to go Michigan. Interestingly, Michigan's hiring in the 2023 cycle didn't make the jump you might expect. Maybe it was because Harbaugh was dating NFL, but Michigan failed to sign the top 100 players in Loop. Saying that out loud is still great. Yes, Michigan has been very influential on the portal. And yes, The Wolverines are bringing back a big chunk of last year's college football playoff team. But if you want to maintain success and avoid a prolonged period of decline, it will always be about high school recruiting in this sport. The cycle of 2024 has become the do-or-die class for Michigan because the Wolverines missed out on some five-star quarterbacks in their home states, such as Dante Moore and C.J. Carr. Dame is the granddaughter of former Michigan head coach Lloyd Carr. Harbaugh is back in NFL dating this year, but that's no excuse. This class will determine not only whether Michigan can continue to beat Ohio State, but whether they can eventually win a playoff game. This is largely due in part to Michigan's inclusion of everything from Charlotte Providence Day school to five-star quarterback Jaden Davis. Davis returned to the Michigan campus this past weekend alongside five-star edge of Washington Friendship Collegiate Academy's Dylan Stewart, four-star tight end Rochester Adams, and Marshall's Brady Prescorn. We know how the Marshall hiring ended. Who is next? Is it Davis? Maybe it's all coming together. Marshall's commitment follows a notable addition to Michigan's class of 2023. On Sunday, the Wolverines took on four-star athlete Brandon Hillman from Churchland, Portsmouth. Hillman signed with Notre Dame in December, but asked for a letter of intent and immediately received offers from Ohio State, LSU, Wisconsin, and others. Michigan took the pledge and, you guessed it, won a head-to-head battle with Ohio State. Some might quickly point out that Marshall is just a player and that Ohio State will focus its attention on the four-star run of another top 100 player, James Peoples of the San Antonio Veterans Memorial. Both of these statements are true. Looking at the Buckeyes roster, it's clear that Michigan still has a lot more to accomplish to bridge the huge talent gap it faces. But this is important. This is geography. This is date. This is again an expression of what is possible. Michigan took in a top 100 player from Ohio for the first time since the 2013 recruiting cycle. It's been a long time. You can bet Ohio State coach Ryan Day and his team are feeling it. There's no doubt that Buckeyes fans do. The competition is back. You can bet Michigan it won't take another decade for Ohio State to get a prospective customer they want out of Ohio. This alone is reason to believe that the Wolverines can take the next step.